Okay, here we are, middle of the week. Yes, I've got my Christmas sparkles going on. Well, come on, it is nearly Christmas, so it is time to get just a little bit excited. On this show, I serve you by answering questions that you're submitting via community.musicradiocreative.com or via the voicemail hotline 415-800-1055. Ryan in Armenia has asked a fantastic question. He said, Mike, how can you compress jingles or add some sparkle or magical mastering to them to make them sound like the big radio stations? Those big stations that have really loud sweepers that sound so good. And you think, how can I replicate that sound? So in this session, I will attempt to help you, Ryan. Here is a sweeper we produced recently. As you can see, tiny bit of compression on the voice and maybe a little touch on the effects, but you can still see quite a bit of dynamic range, and it will sound quite flat, I think, when I play it.
Kiss FM.
There you go, a basic sweeper. And, the way you can create this is really easily, and I would suggest using just one effect in the effects menu, that's all. Because once you have your audio sounding good, so you've produced it, you've got the levels right, you've got the EQ right, everything sounds good, but it just doesn't sound great, that's where the mastering effect comes in. So mastering will take your audio from sounding good to sounding fantastic, like popping out the speakers. It's kind of like adding a gloss over a photo or something like that to make it really pop or shine. We're doing the same with audio here. We're not improving the audio we've got. We're not fixing the audio we've got. We're just adding the final sparkle. So go into Effects, Special, and Mastering. This is an effect and a half. I mean, you really should take this a good close-up of this mastering effect because it's got so much going on here. I'm just going to switch off the spectral frequency display. There we go. So you can see the waveform in the background there. Now, what I will tell you is that, first of all, EQ is going to be a very interesting part of this process, and we will take a look at it in just a moment. But I want to whiz down all of these effects here so you can see everything in action. So let's set everything to default here. And I'm going to zoom out so you can see my overall process with the mastering effect. So first of all, you see everything is set at 0, so nothing is working at the moment in this mastering effect. So adding on reverb, let's put it to 100% so you can really hear it, or turn it up as I play back. Listen.
Kiss FM.
So it gives that kind of final reverb, mastering reverb. Usually I find no more than 20% is needed.
Kiss FM.
40% if you like.
Kiss FM.
So it adds a little bit of gloss or finesse. If you indeed want reverb, you don't have to have it. The exciter, and I prefer the retro setting. There's not much difference between retro tape and tube, different styles of exciter, but this is one that will really make your audio pop by distorting the trebles. Listen. Kiss
FM.
And listen to around 60%.
Kiss FM.
I'm going to back off on the reverb a little bit.
Kiss FM.
And I'm going to turn it off.
Kiss FM.
From flat to very big. Now, say you really want it to have a stereo punch, right up to 100%.
Kiss FM.
Maybe around 50%, you really start to get that good wide feel. This would be particularly apparent if you were panning, say, left to right, your audio. The widener would really increase the stereo image, so a good thing to have there in the mastering effect of Adobe Audition. Loudness maximizer, let me show you this in action with the preview window here. You can already see how it's looking a lot more sort of compressed. The dynamic range is being ironed out a little bit. Loudness maximizer is like a really harsh compressor and hard limiter. Look at that.
Kiss FM.
Maybe turn that down to 30%.
Kiss FM.
Sounding great, isn't it? Really much bigger than it was before. I'll switch it off halfway through.
Kiss FM.
Big difference. And finally, we can enable these EQ points. Let's just keep the peaking enable on, and it works basically like EQ. You've got the real-time display here to see what frequencies you want to enhance or take out, and you can notch it up or down.
Kiss FM.
So a little bit around the sort of boxy vocal range. Low shelf, we can bring that up or down.
Kiss FM. Kiss FM.
And then high shelf again.
Kiss FM.
And of course, you can change the Q on these as well. So essentially making it really wide or really notchy, so you can get exactly the style you want. And when you're happy, and look at the difference between the original waveform and the waveform that we now have, you can click apply, and boom, you have a fully produced and processed sweeper that sounds fat and massive and big. Now, if you were putting this out on the air on a real radio station, I might not go that harsh with compressor or compression on the sweeper because, of course, the on-air compressor is going to really whack it again. But say if you want your internet radio station to sound big and you don't have any compression on your internet radio station, then this is going to be an ideal way of making those sweepers in between the tracks really pop out and sound good. Let's find another example here. This one's been quite well compressed. Let's try and find another one that's not so compressed. Maybe this one.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
Okay, that's a cool sweeper. Now, of course, you can use the mastering effect in Effects Special Mastering here inside Adobe Audition. But, of course, there are plenty of third-party mastering plugins that you can use as well. One of my favorites comes from iZotope, and it's iZotope Neutron. And this really does do magic as well. What I really like about this, get rid of the presets for the moment, is that here you've got everything you'd run through a mastering sort of series, and you can enable them one by one to hear the difference. Now, with the equalizer, what I really like is you can start playing the sweeper and click Learn, and it will learn the best frequencies for you to adjust. Watch how it works.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
And did you see there how the EQ points were jumping around and it was finding the best points for you to play with? Now we can start playing with those points. We don't need to move them across to different frequencies, just up or down.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
Okay, that one clearly needs to go up.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
Again, up.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
That's a nice frequency to decrease.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
And bring the treble up.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
Super cool EQ there. Switch it off.
Kiss Mix
On.
88.3 FM.
And we can go in, add a compressor here.
Kiss Mix 88.
As you can see, it's not kicking yet, so move the threshold down till it does.
Kiss Mix.
Still not kicking in.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
And you can see in real time the effect the compression is having, how much it's pushing the audio down. Got a second compressor if you want it. Obviously, an exciter is a good thing to have. I'm going to switch this one off. I'm going to switch over and put on the treble here, treble exciter. We can have treble and bass, whichever you prefer. But again, you can move this up or down, depending on your preference.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
Turn the drive up to make it work.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
Put a limiter on as well, and let's move the limiter down a bit.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
You can see the limiter working there in the kind of light red color. Click apply, and that's another fantastic way of mastering using iZotope Neutron. Like I say, a ton of plugins you can buy third party. iZotope's a good one. Waves also have a fantastic third party plugin called Infected Mushroom Pusher. Great name. Let me just undo what I've done there with iZotope. As you can see, we had a nice flat waveform there from iZotope's plugin. So Infected Mushroom Pusher. And if you want to grab this one, get a 10% discount by going to mrc.fm/waves. I'll show you how it works. I am Pusher. This is made by a pair of EDM DJs. Let's go for Bright Acoustic. Just see what happens here.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
That's quite a crunchy mastering setting. I really like that. Obviously, the input gain needs to turn up a little bit because we're losing a bit of volume there with all the mastering. Oh, probably not that one because it's going to compress it more. That's, the input into the mastering effect. What we actually want to do is turn up the output. So you see there it says -10. Let's see if we can alter that a little bit. Funny that it won't let me alter it. That's a shame. Oh, well, you can just apply it instead. Oh, hang on. Maybe it'll help me. Ah, yes, now I can do it. So up a bit more. up to sort of minus 0.1 dB. Apply. Look at that. Look at that crunchy processing.
Kiss Mix 88.3 FM.
That really kicks, doesn't it? So many ways you can go about it, using either the native Adobe Audition effects, something from iZotope, something from Waves, or another third-party plugin producer of your choice. Really doesn't matter, as long as it gets the job done and you are happy with it, then go for it. But that's how you compress jingles to sound like the big radio station jingles. Really hope that answers your question, Ryan, and do keep them coming in over at community.musicradiocreative.com. If you want to get serious about producing, go and grab my Adobe Audition presets that do a lot of this magic, just straight there in the multi-track, voice effects bus, and lots of different other processing going on inside this this wonderful template that I use every day myself to produce big radio station jingles. You can grab it now at mrc.fm/presets.